folks in the Republican Party who don't seem to care about life once it is out of the womb. I read it in the last block, but I want to play the sound of the governor of Mississippi dismissing the danger of overturning Roe v. Wade. Maya, listen.
Do you acknowledge that this step will result in some women and almost certainly getting seriously hurt, some even dying?
Well, I certainly would hope that that would not be the case. But what I would tell you, Jake, is that since Roe was enacted in 1973, there have been 62 million American babies that have been killed through this process. And I think that those babies in their mother's womb don't have the ability to stand up for themselves. And that's why they have to have people like me and others around this nation that for years have tried to stand up for unborn children.
Okay, so Maya, I read that in the last block, but to hear him say those words is really rather chilling. That's some Handmaid's Tale stuff he's saying there.
It's so scary because what it shows is he actually does not care about the lives of women, and I mean the lives of women. Because what we know from data, from research, one is that women are 14 times more likely to be seriously injured or die because they don't have an abortion than because they do. Abortions are significantly safer to the health of the woman when the woman chooses that. Let's be clear, it's about having a choice. But the other part of this, and he's in Mississippi, where over a third of the population is Black. Black women in particular are dying of pregnancy-related conditions at 4 times the rate of women who are white, 4 times. A lot of that is about access to quality health care, reproductive health care. There's only one clinic in Mississippi. That's about whether or not people have all the kinds of health care they need, not just pregnancy-related health care as well. It's also about bias in the medical system and whether women who are Black or Latina or Native American or are treated for the conditions they have. So the callousness is actually deeply, deeply concerning for anybody who actually does care about human life and purports to care about human life. And I just want to make the link to AIDS, because I was in the first AIDS discrimination law clinic as a law student in the country in the 1980s and had clients who are HIV positive. And here's the thing. The callousness literally from folks who had that same ideology were let them die. Let them die because we think there's something immoral about them. And I think we have to acknowledge that there's something going on here that is beyond science and beyond clear public policy that balances interests fairly. It's really about who we think are worthy of our support and compassion and who we think are not.
Great point. Yeah, that was the attitude. Let them die. And, you know, it was painful then. It's painful now to realize that attitude, that mentality is running rampant in this country right now. Maya Wiley, Jennifer Rubin, Mariana Sotomayor, thank you all very much for coming to the Sunday Show. Up next, Senator Ron Johnson proves once again he is the very worst.